Again, I just want to welcome everybody, and we're going to begin our program with Victor Reed. He is the director of Camp Butler, and he will give us a brief history of Camp Butler. Victor?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here with you all today. I'm just going to go over a brief history of Camp Butler and explain the historical significance of it and the honor that we have as your Brigade and Airborne Division has chosen Camp Butler as a place for your monument. So in August of 1861, Camp Butler was established as a training camp for troops from central Illinois. The camp was established as a processing camp, and the first troops to arrive were from Mason, Madison, Macon, Piatt, and Pike counties. These men were teachers, clerks, barbers, tailors, and preachers. They were men from all walks of life. February of 1862 saw the change of the main mission of Camp Butler from a training facility to a POW camp. This is evidenced by the almost 900 Confederate soldiers that are interred at Camp Butler National Cemetery. Here also are the dead of other wars: the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, Iraq, Afghanistan. For many who met death on the far-flung battlefields of the world, at war, this bit of Illinois homeland became a final resting place with the return of their remains from overseas for reinterment in the United States. Included among these decedents of World War II are 9 group burials of 30 remains. Circumstances of their death precluded identification of their remains for individual burials, and they now rest in common graves with their comrades in arms who perished with them. Also interred in our national cemetery are 35 alien prisoners of war, World War II and Korea, who died in Midwestern prisoner of war camps. 31 Germans, 3 Italians, 1 Korean. Under the terms of the Geneva Convention, they were accorded decent and self-respecting burial, and each grave was marked with a white marble headstone. 2 were reinterred from Camp Grant, Illinois in June of 1946, 3 from Camp McCoy, Wisconsin in June of 1947, and 11 from Fort Robinson, Nebraska in July 1947. On June 26, 1970, 16 Germans and 3 Italian nationals who were buried at Camp Atterbury, Indiana, were reinterred as a Camp Atterbury was the Army post near Edinburgh in Johnson County. It was discontinued. Here at Camp Butler, ordered rows of white marble headstones offer a mute testimony of the lives of those members of the armed forces who participated in these struggles and whose services brought honor to themselves and to their nation. At this quiet and dedicated cemetery, a grateful nation commemorates their deeds and reveres their memory. The monument that you dedicate today adds to the sacredness of these hallowed grounds. This monument commemorates the sacrifice of individuals, not much different than all the individuals that have come before that are interred in this national shrine. This monument will stand in solitude to honor the individuals of this legendary unit and will forever ensure that sacrifices of your brothers and friends are never forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Our next guest is the 173rd Airborne Association's President-elect, Wambi Cook, and he flew all the way in from California just to be here with us, and we appreciate it. Wambi, would you like to say a few words, please?
I shall. Thank you. The important part of that invitation was I flew in because Kaiser asked me. If you're not invited, what do you do? I've known Kaiser for several years. I know more about his efforts with the Gold Star and the 173rd in this area than I do of my own chapter, which I've been president my California chapter for going on 12 years. So when I was honored to be asked to take a few moments, he told me I have 5 minutes. I'm taking 8. Letting them know right now. Of course, I'm coming, and he and Pearl, they've accommodated me well, and I'm glad to see a few. I know some of the faces because of all the reunions, and then we're standing outside, getting ready to come in, and no, we were over at the cemetery, and he's Mike Walker over there, and Kaiser, we're trying to get out the car. I said, you better tell him it's over here. We transferred. Mike and I served in the same company at the same time in Vietnam. Our ironies and small world notwithstanding. The 173rd, for those of you who are unfamiliar, we were the first major Army unit in Vietnam. That date is designated as 5th of May. 5th of May, boats from Okinawa, Japan, brought the 173rd over. And in most, it may not marked in formally or officially, but that was the beginning of the Vietnam War. And we were there for 6 years till we disbanded. And forgive me, I was a draftee, so some of the more military terms I may escapes me. Disbanded sounds like, what's the word I'm looking for? Some of you old guys that spent more than 2 years.
You stood down.
Stood down's good. That's cool. And that was in '70, and we didn't stand up. We didn't until 2000, when the present day 173rd. And for a couple highlights, and some of this stuff most of you guys should know, but a lot of you don't know. And we were there from 65 to 70. The 173rd, 71, forgive me, 70, thank you. During the Vietnam War, you'll find if you go to Washington, there are 1,533 173rd names. We were a small unit in comparison to a lot of the other units within the U.S. military. We received over 77 decorations, 7,700 decorations. We had over 6,000 Purple Hearts. We had 13 Medal of Honor winners, 2 of which Mike and I, we served with 2 of those winners. One was a Catholic priest and one was in my squad, Carlos Lozada. We had 30.
Granada. I say with him from Okinawa.
Okay. You've got 32, we earned 32 Distinguished Service Crosses, more referred to as DSCs. And this is just a brief history of what this unit, Mike shared with me. I hate to keep bringing Mike up. Mike said when he came back from Vietnam, he was stationed somewhere. I can't remember. I don't need you to tell me. But he said the unit, it wasn't 173rd because they were no longer in existence. But the patch he wore, this patch, these patches, he said, I didn't have to do anything. He got away with murder. He didn't have to go out and do the exercises. He didn't have to participate in a lot of things were mandatory. Why? I didn't have to ask him why. I know why, because they knew our record. Whether you are a veteran of 1965 up through 71, whether you stayed here 3 months and wounded, whether you were on a combat mission or you just were a support, that 85% of those who served in the 173rd were in some manner support. You wore that patch and you wore it proudly. You wore it then proudly, and even today, we even more so. Of Vietnam veterans, for your information, I doubt seriously if there's any Vietnam veteran that's under 70 years old. Am I mistaken in this?
Yes, you're wrong.
Yeah? Yeah. In this room right here. I'm referring to. No, I know. There's a few very young. At 20 years old, I was one of the old guys in 1967. Yes, I was one of the old guys. So I knew guys that were 18, 19 years old. Give me a couple minutes to share what I think is, I returned to Vietnam in 2011 as a tourist, 2008, 2011, 2017, I went with the Department of Defense POW MIA recovery team to Hill 875. And, but my most memorable out of those 3 so far was in 2016. I was in early 2015, I was contacted via the internet by a lady who had read something. Some guys have different therapies. They draw, they paint, they hunt, they fish. Me, I write. She had read, she told me, we're just exchanging emails. And she said, my brother served with the 173rd, and he was killed on, he told me the date. I said, oh, I didn't know him. I didn't get to Vietnam until a month afterward. And she said, I've always promised myself that if I ever got the opportunity, I want to go back and I want to go to the spot where my brother lost, she was 15 at the time he was killed. He was 18. And she wanted to know if I said, I'm sorry, I can't go back. She wore me down. We both through the internet and then phoned old country girl from Dolly Parton area. And her name was Brenda Underwood. Her maiden name was Lloyd. Her brother was Lonnie Floyd. And he was the only 173rd killed on this particular day. But she, through due diligence, she was contacting some of his former buddies. She contacted Google Earth and some military officials, and she was confident that she would find, based on all of her calculations, the very area where her brother met his demise. I told her from the beginning, chances of that happening are almost nil. You can't bond, but I didn't discourage her. She insisted, so she told me, she said, well, Doug, and Doug was her husband, he said, it's okay if I go with you. I said, well, Mary, that's my wife. She said, so we don't stay in the same room. I know, Brenda, we don't, the way I set it up, we have separate rooms. And our trip started in Hanoi, where we saw the prison. And I'd been to these places before in my previous 2 trips. Anyway, 2 days before it's time for us to return to the States, on our itinerary, it says we're going to this location with her brother. And I've tried to ease and mollify. Brenda, now, I hope you're prepared, because the chances are remote that she said, I'm going to do it. Our guides in Saigon, based on all of her documentation, her Google Earth, and the other documents she provided, we drove out that morning in the van, and we got there. We got to a place, and the driver, because only the 4 of us, driver, guide, English-speaking guy, and he says, this is it. This is it. Based on her count, this is it. Ladies, gentlemen, we got to the very spot, all things being equal, where her brother, Lonnie, KIA. And she looked at me, and it happened to, the site was a Vietnamese cemetery. Vietnamese cemetery, how ironic. And she looked at me, and I'm waiting. I said, well, I'm going to follow whatever her lead. She looked at me, and we're staring at each other. It seemed like forever. It was probably 15, 20 seconds. Brenda, what did we do? She stopped, didn't say a word. She went back into the van, and she came out with a T-shirt. She came out with a T-shirt on, dedicated to her brother. Okay, I didn't have a T-shirt on. I had a 173rd shirt on. Okay, she's got the T-shirt. Now the ceremony begins. Bonnie, what's next? She said, aren't you going to say a prayer? I said, oh, Lord, she picked me to say a prayer. And I said some words that I have no idea what I said, but I've never been in that situation. But the enormity of being with this woman who made a promise as a young girl to, if the opportunity presented itself, to return to the very spot of her brother's death. I said, do you know how many thousands, not just 173rd, thousands and tens of thousands of Americans that can only imagine? And it's hard to believe. That's why we documented it for memorial, both, and I've written about it. What Kaiser has done in memorializing our unit, it's not unprecedented, but with the zeal and vigor that he approached this, every one of us here, both who served in the 173rd, those invited guests, those family members, you should feel proud, as I am. I'm getting chill bumps just thinking about it, that you can go over to the cemetery and there's the rock. That's what they called when they came from Japan in May of '65. It was the rock. That's the way they referred to it. And Kaiser has represented that over there, and I hope you get a chance to stand by that rock as I am honored today. Please, Kaiser, continue your excellent work. If we get these guys, yeah, it's on your program. You got other guys that, you know, we like the new guys too. 173rd is a proud unit. And I'm honored once again to have been invited, and to the brothers of the 173rd, Airborne,
All the way.
have mercy. Thank you all.
Thank you, Wambi. Very good. Now, just a couple things before the Congressman comes. Number one, we got the nickname The Rock in Corregidor during World War II. The 503rd Infantry jumped into Corregidor and saved the Philippine Islands. And that's where we came up with the nickname The Rock. 503rd was incorporated into the 173rd Airborne in 1963. And number two, I met a 67-year-old on the Honor Guard, a Marine, that was in Vietnam in 1975, and he's the youngest Vietnam veteran I've ever met. And at this time, I'm honored to present Congressman Rodney Davis to give us a few words. And everybody welcome him, please.
Kaiser, thank you so much. Wambi, thank you so much. Which part of California?
Southern California, not Los Angeles.
Sorry,
I'm 20 miles away, just so don't, I'm originally, I'm near where Kaiser was. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm a transplanted Californian.
Well, we hope you're still not a Steeler fan.
Every day.
I gotta tell you, I'm just honored and humbled every time I'm around a group of heroes like those of you who are in the 173rd and so many others who have sacrificed so much for our freedoms that get taken for granted here in this great country. For me, I have the unique opportunity to serve as a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, and I know that without the sacrifices our heroes and veterans have made throughout our nation's history, I wouldn't have that opportunity. So thank you for giving me a chance to be here. And really, I want to say, Kaiser, thank you for giving my team the opportunity to help out in this project. Knowing that you guys are nicknamed The Rock, it kind of makes me understand my old friend, Representative Ron Stevens, a little bit better.
Yeah.
I got a text from Ron on the way up. He couldn't make it today, but he was disappointed he didn't get a chance to see you all, but wanted me to tell you all personally hello from him, from his wife Lisa. Ron used to regale me with stories when I was younger about Vietnam and about the 173rd, and so much I learned from Ron was that it just didn't stop with a unit like yours. He was able to help others, like our friend who is now deceased, Richard Luttrell. He helped Rich go back to Vietnam and meet the family of a soldier that Rich killed, to find out reconciliation. And that's what Ron was about. And to be able to be a part of seeing a rock placed at Camp Butler, and thank you, Victor, for what you do to make that cemetery the honor that it should be to all of our heroes. Let's give Victor and the team a to have it there as a memory and as an honor for what all of you did and what this entire unit means to our country and our freedoms, our liberties. I'm just humbled to be a small part of it. I want to be part of your team. And I've got a resolution here that we put together that will honor the jump that happened on May 5th of 1965. As Wambi said, that was the first unit to be deployed. We also honor in February of 1967 when elements of the 173rd made the only unit-sized combat airborne jump in Vietnam. We also wanted to honor in 2003, parts of the 173rd Airborne made the only unit-sized airborne jump into Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. And in 2005, the 173rd Airborne was deployed to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. We want to honor all of the Sky Soldiers that you are, that are part of this unit in this proclamation. And being a part of your team makes me appreciate the team that I have. And I wouldn't have the ability to be here today or to have this to give to you without my team. And I want to call them up, and I want to include my good friend, State Representative Tim Butler, because he was part of my initial team. So Meg, Tim, Helen, come on up here. Come on up. Well, you might not be, you're not supposed to do this, but sometimes I don't follow all of the rules you gave me. So, Wambi, you want to come up here too as the incoming president?
I thank you.
And let's go out in front of the podium here. No, you're right here.
Let's get all together.
You get in there. You're more important than I.
I'm taller than you.
Kaiser, this goes to you first and foremost for having the vision and having the ability to put your team together to make today happen and to make the honor of what is out at Camp Butler, what we were hoping to witness without the weather. It's going to live on forever. So thank you for your efforts, and thank you to your entire team for all your efforts in the entire 173rd Association.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Would y'all please remain here one moment? I'm sorry.
Now we get the checks.
Yeah.
Get the checks. Uh-oh, no checks. Son of a...
In politics, man, you can't say checks.
Victor Reed, did he leave?
He's back there.
Victor, these are certificates of appreciation from Chapter 21. And, no, that's not Victor's.
Oh.
And Victor, for your guidance and your support in us placing on memorial, we couldn't have done it without Victor Reed. I went through 2 other directors, and they didn't give me much help. And he came, he did it all for us. And Helen Albert, for your help and support in placing on our memorial. There you are, Helen.
They look the same, we know.
Thank you very much. Meg, for your help and support in helping us place our memorial. I know you and Helen do all the work for Rodney Davis, and he just comes and shows up, right? Yep. And Congressman Davis, for your help and support in getting our memorial placed, we present you with this letter of certificate of appreciation. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you all. And also, wanted to give Wambi one, just so he can hang it on his wall. All right. One thing before we have the firing of the honor guard, we have a couple young veterans here at 173rd Airborne. Most of us all Vietnam. I'd like for Nathan, he is our treasurer, the chaplain. I'd like for him to stand up, and Pat Brennan to stand up. Afghan vets, 173rd Airborne. And also our youngest paratrooper, Wyatt Bailey. And there he is sleeping over there. So All right,
Hey Kaiser, 1 second for these young guys, just for your information, I mentioned in Vietnam, we earned 173rd, 13 Congressional Medals of Honor. The 173rd between Afghanistan and Iraq, we have 3 173rd Medal of Honor recipients. Thank you, brothers.
One more, Andy Brown would like to say something.
Yeah, well, I am one of the guys that left Iraq, one or two of them. In correction, we did not jump in. They surprised us and took us, because we didn't think we were going to Vietnam. In fact, that's the first time I dug a hole. You know, other time I played around. But I just want to correct that. We did not jump in. May 5th, 1965, we flew in.
Okay. Would everybody, you two want to get the briefs?
Yeah.
Okay. Would everybody, in a moment, to stand and place your hand over your heart? We will have a 21-gun salute to our fallen, and we will play taps. So, Sergeant of Guard, will you be prepared to salute our fallen comrades? Bring the wreath up, please.
That's outside.
This is in place of our memorial.
Congress passed a law. You don't necessarily have to, if you were a military, you served in the military, you can, you don't have to remain uncovered. You can wear your hat with your salute. I prefer to wear my hat. There it is. Two.
What up?